And this was the fire burn, the telephones, communication for everyone who was on the different plantations, the cancan and the drums. That's what was used to free us from slavery.
Was a field slave from estate Lagrange, St. Croix. He was in the fire burn with Queen Mary. He was the leader of the fire burn and the field of the field slaves, men. Queen Mary lead the women, he lead the men. They shipped Bordeaux from this plantation here straight to Trinidad after the fire burn. Because they didn't want no more like here around here who realized who you need to have to get them man out. Four women working on these plantations around Fredericksted get organized with all the women in Fredericksted and a few men. Four women working on these plantations around Fredericksted get organized with all the women in Fredericksted and a few men and burn down St. Croix from Fredericksted all the way to Kings Hill. When they reach to Kings Hill, the white man them, the people from Christianstead, see the whole island was on fire, the whole west was on fire. So the people in Christianstead see the fire and alert the owners, the white man them in Christianstead, and they stop the fire by Kings Hill. Okay? The whole island was on fire. But the plantation, the slaves in Carlton, Estate Carlton, which is on the way to Christianstead, heading east from Fredericksted, they killed the owner of the plantation and took him to the center line road and hung him up on a tree on the main road for the white man them to see him on their way down to Fredericksted. Okay, so that's where they met when they come to Fredericksted. Two white men hanging on a tree.
My name is Iya Tahira. Most people in the community call me Iya, the Queen Mother. And Queen Mother is the elder position we take on coming out of our indigenous understanding from our African lineage. that always was the Queen Mothers. And Queen Mother, I didn't know if you, until I went to Africa, I thought that the Queen was the king's wife. And I learned quickly that the Queen Mother was she was the one who sat at the left-hand side of the king. She was the one to always speak first in the meetings. And I was not aware of that. Quite pleased to see that there was a part of our lineage still intact. And that's the Akan people. They still have their kingdom and still recognize they acknowledge of the elders and communal coming together. No meeting takes place. You go as a visitor, everybody stops to greet you and welcome you in that village. So that was my first interest. I was really pleased to see that we still have some remnants of our indigenous ways of understanding African communal living. So anyway, back to the story at hand. Coming to St. Croix was really an awakening for me, because I felt that I was coming to visit. It was basically, again, like more than that. It was part of that journey. It was like an ancestral call, but I couldn't put words to it. Until I got here and my friend said, the ancestors they've been walking around the house, and I told them I'm not the one, that they must be coming for you because they was there 3 days. I don't know what to do with those people, you know that. I said, oh, okay, you're afraid of the dead. So show me where the ancestor, where they're, everybody on the estates, they had housing where the elders, the Africans lived. Black people lived in these places. They was on the plantation, but they had their own quarters. So around there you have like where they sat. You could tell they were sitting. It was almost like you could feel that energy of how they came together in the evening, and they celebrated. And what I found most interesting was the water pond that was in the middle. Back to where we were, is feeling immediately that ancestral pour in that community and going there and doing the libation. I didn't know until I came back the second time that there was barriers. And what I learned, that there was barriers, and still learning that some of our ancestors was not even properly buried. And that if we listen clearly, ancestors will tell us, will show us the direction and ask. I recently had an experience, and this one was like, a grandmother said, she said, I wasn't grieved. And so you listen again, you say, she wasn't grieved. And then I started feeling tears, and I knew that I was listening to this grandmother. And I said, and I leaned in again, and she said, I wasn't grieved, I'm not home. So in coming to know that, we have a responsibility to elevate those energies on the planet. And in different ways, in the yoga practices, you elevate you start on the floor. And you do ceremonial work until you lift the spirit up. And every day you go to the altar and you put another book and you keep raising the spirit, and you appease the spirit by saying, we're here, we hear you, and we will help you get home. And so we help our ancestors, those who didn't have proper burial, that was not grieved, that it becomes our responsibility to lift that energy up on the planet and grieve them properly. It may mean collective grieving. And right now there's the practice of grief rituals. And one that's being called for here, because grief rituals, when we don't grieve, things stay stuck in this side of the world. get stuck in what we call our universal energy flow. So all of those things are important for us to recognize and to give credence to it. And the other side of that, you have some spirits that don't get home, that are really lost spirits. And even though they're lost spirits, I feel that we have to reconcile that as well. There's a forgiveness, that a prayer of forgiveness. Because for me, what I see as more and more as I journey on this planet is that as we forgot to do many things, now we come back to repair that way, to create this inner healing as well as the external healing on this planet. And the ancestors have already commissioned us to do so. They said, without us, there's no you. And there's no me. So we have to understand this continuation of this life's journey, that this is a response to our own human evolution. That we didn't begin in the diaspora, that we are a humanity that has many millions of years on the planet. And some of us have been recycled through that million years of cycle of humanity. But can we remember those times? Like we shared, remember that you was beheaded. I remember that you was initiated in the Great Pyramids. Remember that you might have been initiated during the Atlantis period. You don't know that. But all of those, the more we come to know that this is not a beginning, this is a continuation of our humanity. And in between, we need to reconcile some things in that water. And I felt that pond was that. I felt that those ones who lived there, somehow they knew that they needed the water around them, even though they had the big ocean, but there was something very textual. It's almost like when you go to the memory, you can feel something very textual and refined. It's almost like you can taste it. I don't know if that makes any sense. But it's almost when you have a memory, you can taste that something that we missed. And connecting with the ancestors and learning their stories it's like hearing their stories, but it's more sensing in, feeling, because the place that we live, like you was identifying the house holds the story. The walls know the story.